Hello, and welcome back to the Authentic Creative, expanding our capacity to feel good. I'm really over the moon. I know I say that every time, but I truly am. This is my favorite thing, not only to be here with you on the podcast, with you, listener, but also in 65 countries around the world. We're all connected by our hearts. But I'm also really over the moon excited and delighted to be in communion, in sisterhood with these goddesses of light, with these incredible creatives, talented women. And as to be expected, we've done some breath work. That's how we roll. We are in our breathwork cocoon. We're still in it. We're still hearts open, vulnerable, fresh. We just did some releasing. We had our intentions. As you may know, if you've been listening to some of these panels, is I might just completely throw away the script and just go with whatever's flowing. But what I want to do is I want to give these goddesses an opportunity without putting labels on who they are yet or any of that, just completely as souls, like what their experience was of their breath work and how they're feeling now. Anything that you want to share? Megan, do you want to kick us off?
In terms of what I felt about the breath work. It's a constant invitation to let go of control and surrender to what is innately there and remember what is innately there. And I think that that is the point of it all.
Yeah.
I think that we are constantly put in that position to be challenged to remember that we just need to trust that we are being guided to where we need to be guided to, and that we are fully taken care of and loved into life, and that your life is on purpose. So I think that brings you to that edge, and you get to surrender and feel held in the unknown. And as you know, my saying is magic only happens in the unknown. So
Mm.
yeah, I love it. I love being in that space. And I think as creatives, as visionaries, as women that are powerhouses, that are entrepreneurial or have kids and are like boss moms, like all of it, we get to just let all that go and still have so much worth and value without having to do, you know?
Preach, sister. Oh my gosh. Everything you just said 100 times. Yes. I love the part where you talked about bringing yourself to your edge because that's the piece of expanding our capacity to feel. And when I say expanding our capacity to feel good, I mean expanding our capacity to feel, right? And
Yeah.
so I think our work is so in alignment, which makes complete sense that we're on this goddess team together because we have very similar missions in the world, but very unique zones of genius. Feel free to, the rest of you ladies who are sharing, to obviously echo, but say anything that's contrasting as well. We don't have to agree. I'm curious, Lola, how your experience is of the breathwork today. We've all done in-person breathwork. Obviously, it's a little different on Zoom. Any revelations that came through?
I loved what you just said of expanding our capacity to feel and feel all the things. And that's what I really love about breath work is it gives me a reason to slow down enough to kind of dig into the things I might have kind of glossed over or avoided feeling. It's almost like, here we go. Let's check in a very honest, real way. What's going on inside of me today? And what am I needing to grieve? What am I needing to mourn, let go of, and actually feel that grief?
Yeah.
Feel like maybe the anger of what didn't work the way I wanted it to work, and feel all that. And then through that primal sounding I let go of all of the tension of holding on to those emotions and finally it's a sense of gratitude that just floods my body. And I today was really feeling how much joy you have as a facilitator doing this work.
Mhm.
That's part of what makes this so special to experience is that you're so in it, you're so dedicated, and I can feel the full commitment that you have in your whole life. How you live your life is to be a better facilitator for us.
Mm,
I was just feeling so grateful. You're a role model for me, an inspiration to me of how you show up to your work in that level of total devotion.
mm,
That's how I want to be with my work as well. So thank you for radiating the passion and joy of the art of what you're doing.
mm. Well, I mean, I'm doing my best to receive the fullness of what you just shared, and it touches me deeply and moves me deeply. And I see the similar yet different venues that you clearly are so devotional in your life and the way that you live your life. I could literally mirror those exact words back to you. And I so look up to you, or I don't know how to say it because I'm really trying to de-pedestal people. That's a big thing in my life is I'm not pedestaling anyone anymore. But I really admire how you get on your surfboard and go out there in the ocean and how you just are constantly transmitting your gift through your voice to people everywhere. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for allowing yourself to go there in the breath work. Marne, I'm curious how the breath work was for you today. It's different every time.
I think it's different every time is a really great way to begin how today was for me. I was very uncomfortable. Um, but I feel like every time I've done breath work, I've just released and let go, and I feel the tingles, and I'm like, yes, I'm in it, I'm here, I release everything. And today I was uncomfortable and I was itchy and I kept opening my eyes and I took off my pants.
As you need to, of course.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I was
The
like just
benefit of
irritable
Zoom
and
breath work.
I just, yeah. And I was like, what am I irritated with? What am I mad at? What am I trying to work through right now? I couldn't even put a word to it or any reasoning to it. And so then I was like mad at myself because I couldn't figure out what I was trying to release. Yeah, it was really uncomfortable. I think by the primal sounding, by that song, as soon as you reminded me that I had permission to yell it out and groan it out and work through it with my voice, I was like, oh, okay. I don't even care what it was. It was energy. It was stuck. It doesn't matter what it was. I'm letting it out. And thank goodness I don't have any neighbors with any great proximity to my house because I definitely let it go and, took off my pants. And then I felt so much better. And by the end, it was one of the most profound kind of transformational sessions of breath work I had had. I know my intention going into it was release stuck energy, allow myself to receive what is meant to be received and let go of what isn't. And that rings true in a lot of areas of my life right now. So I understand why I was irritable and angry. And I also understand why now I feel a heck of a lot better. Yeah, I definitely had a greater physical response than I think I've ever had. I'm still like, I'm really clammy and sweaty, and I wish I could take off my sweater, but I can't. So
Just
I'm just
get
working
naked.
through
It's all good.
it. Just working through it.
I love the honesty. You're like, it was really uncomfortable. And I laugh because I totally relate. And I did not put the playlist in order in the way that I meant to. So it was a complete chaotic mishmash in the fact that I didn't go the way I planned at all. And isn't that perfect? Because here we are and we got what we needed one way or another, even if it was a contrasting experience of like, I'm fucking uncomfortable. Let me take off my pants. I love that. I'm so glad that it's different every single time and that sometimes it's super uncomfortable for the bulk of the experience and then all of a sudden it's the most cathartic thing we've ever felt because I think that's just like life. And the piece about not needing to understand is so important because I think so much of tapping back into what Megan was sharing is wanting to control and feeling that survival of, we all know it. We've all cared for children, it's really hard to be surrendered and to be in trust and to be in the magic and the flow. And even if you haven't cared for children, I'm sure you have your own experience of caretaking and taking care of our career. It's a lot, it's hard. And I find so much passion, like Lola was saying, in being able to create these spaces for high achieving women like you are, because we need so deeply, our earth needs so deeply for us to have the experience of surrender, for us to be able to be giving our medicine, whatever unique way that we give our medicine to the earth. Dawn with her sound and her connection to nature, who's also here and was at an Elton John concert and now is sick because her husband got sick. And I think it must have been worth it because come on, Elton John.
Anything for Elton John, right? I was just thinking as we were talking about this, and Marnay, I just love you. And I have the privilege of being completely off camera because I'm still in my robe from this morning. My body was trying to cooperate with this, and then finally the surrender of you can be somewhere even if it doesn't look and feel like how you envisioned it. So I don't know, maybe I took all my clothes off. You'll never know, right? I was also very uncomfortable. But it was this realization, even as we got started, to surrender. The word surrender means something so personal to each of us. And it's been a word that has evolved in its meaning for me. And it used to be surrender to the chaos, surrender to whatever's happening. And then it was surrender that you have control and just whatever happens, happens. Now, to me, it's a very personal surrendering and anchoring into that sanctuary that's inside of me all the time, anywhere I'm at, regardless of the chaos around me. So instead of a surrender to the chaos, like, oh, my body's sick, my body's aching, I'm definitely not ready for all the things I had today, surrendering to showing up in that authority and presence of everything just as it is in perfect divine timing,
Yeah.
whatever that feels like. And that feels like a huge victory today, just a little personal victory in just sitting in that presence of the storms within our lives or within the greater ecosystem and cosmos. They're swirling around us, and we can choose to be the mountain, right? To anchor in. So, Siri, the song that you played that spoke to me the most is, and I don't know the name of it, but when it talks about our body being the earth and
Yeah, mama.
mama, yeah, water being our blood and air being our breath and fire our spirit, that song anchored me so deep into the presence and the being all of everything all at the same time that the swirling around me. You were talking about mothering or caretaking. I have a daughter who's literally sitting in the car right now demanding to go to school. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. She'd make it for 15 minutes of her last class. And I'm not going to get up off the
Bless her heart. Bless her heart.
love her tenacity, but honey, surrender. Thank you, Siri. The
You're
breath today
so
was very
welcome.
beautiful.
And how incredible it is that you were willing, with a little bit of encouragement, to be here, even though you're not feeling well. It's just a testament to your dedication and your devotion and your service. You are such a service-oriented, devotional person. All of you are. Thank you so deeply, truly, for showing up, even though you've got so much going on, Dawn. I really appreciate you and just collaborating with you as a friend and as an entrepreneur in these glimmers that we've been doing, these little mini experiences of our goddess of light has been transformative for me and such a gift to learn from you, each of you. Dawn, the way that you connect with people, such a gift. I want to give Desi a chance to share anything. This was your first time experiencing breathwork with me. I felt myself wanting it to go really, really well for you, for each of you. When we have that expectation, it's like, ugh, don't do that, right? But I hope that you got something out of it.
Yes, breathwork is always really a big resistance for me because I don't give myself permission to slow down and release.
I give everyone else permission all the time and coach it and set up spaces. Thank you for encouraging me to fully surrender and really lay down and just get into it. I had a lot of tears, these really subtle, beautiful tears. And then I started to see like a lot of stars, like my constellation. I saw Pleiades, and it was sort of like your essence with everything gone. It's like this beautiful place in the universe. And it was very peaceful there. It was beautiful because it's very peaceful, and I don't feel my body that way very often. So thank
I
you so
would,
much.
you're so welcome. Thank you for giving yourself a new experience. The fact that you saw the stars and you felt the peace, I love it.
It was
So
beautiful.
excited. Desi is a gift from Dawn. She connected us. What a discovery, because not only did you come with these expansive solutions to problems I didn't even realize I needed solutions to with our Goddess of Light retreat, but you also have so much experience with traveling all over the world to really fabulous places like Egypt and being really in communion with the earth and with the feminine. I just want to share a little poem that I shared at the end of our breath work. This is inspired by our team here. We enter this space as women of light. We release what no longer serves the path ahead and return to the rhythm of our own breath. We remember that peace begins within, that the medicine is already moving through us. We release the old stories, the weight of the past, the need to know what's next, the need to control. We open instead to patience, to trust, to the divine unfolding of what wishes to be born. We shed the layers of what once kept us small, and in that soft unraveling, we expand into our truest selves. We breathe compassion into every cell for who we've been, for who we're becoming, for each other. We allow light to move freely, to dance through our words, our sound, our silence, our creation. Together, we become a living symphony of healing, an orchestra of harmonic frequencies, sending waves of truth, beauty, and remembrance into the world. And may all who are ready feel this vibration and know they are home. So our mission statement here, our Goddess of Light, is a sanctuary for women who hold it all. Leaders, artists, healers, mothers, visionaries, creatives. So many of us were taught to be, quotes, good girls, to overgive, to overfunction, and override our needs until we burn out. And these retreats are where we remember another way. For ourselves as leaders, for you, the people that are drawn to this experience, we set down what no longer serves and return to the truth that softness is strength, rest is holy, and joy is a form of prayer. Here, our boundaries are sacred. Here, we learn to serve from overflow instead of depletion. Here, we remember that we are already radiant, already powerful, already enough. And every retreat is a living ceremony, a weaving of sound, breath, nourishment, artistry, sisterhood. It's creative, it's rejuvenative, poetic space where women can rest, receive, and be ourselves. We can drop the masks. We can just experience our authentic, true selves with each other. So we gather to heal the sisterhood wounds as part of it. Just being together is a healing, to be in sisterhood, to soften competition into collaboration, and to remember that when one of us shines, we all rise. That is what Goddess of Light is about. That is what we are here to embody. So welcome to this very special episode of The Authentic Creative. I'm here with our Radiant Goddesses of Light team, the women who help hold and weave this retreat experience with me. Our gatherings are spaces to remember who we are beneath the noise, to reconnect with our light, our truth, and our creative essence. And our dialogue today invites you to feel the heartbeat of this collective, to meet the women behind it, and the love that makes it all come alive. So Dawn holds the energy of sound and ceremony, guiding us through vibration into the body's natural harmony. Marne nourishes us through food as medicine, reminding us that healing can be beautiful and sensual and nutritious and medicinal. Lola channels divine frequency through music, helping us remember that our voices are instruments of light. Megan also brings this music, this soul healing through compassion and creative expression, helping us soften into the truth of who we are and reminding us that the magic always reveals itself when we release control and trust the unknown. And Desi captures the sacred through her lens, her photographic lens, reflecting back the beauty of transformation and connection. She's also blessing us with creating the flow for us, holding the flow for us, keeping that flow. So each woman carries a very unique, beautiful gift, many gifts though, that shape our Goddess of Light experience. And together we create the energy that welcomes every guest, safe, seen, and free to exhale, to set it down, and to have whatever experience she's needing. So now that we've come back from our breathwork journey, whatever that experience was for you, I think it's perfect. And I'm so blessed to be able to be in sisterhood with each of you. I'm curious, what has called you to the work that you do? You could also add on what's called you to this particular sisterhood. How has your relationship with your own light, as we're calling this a goddess of light, evolved through this journey? I want to encourage us to say the real and not feel like we have to say what's expected of us. I'll just kick us off by saying what's called me to this work is not necessarily a logical choice. It's a path that's unfolded beyond anything that I could have necessarily tried to plan. Here I am because I've continued to show up in answer the call of what my gifts seem to be, holding safe space, giving others what I have needed for myself. Like Desi said, I have needed to slow down. I have needed to be held. I have needed safe space. I have needed to unfurl. I have needed to heal sisterhood wounds. I have needed to learn what it means to not need to be liked, but to just show up out of authenticity. I've wanted to create what I've needed and do that for others. My relationship with my own light, how it's evolved through the journey, well, I would say there's light and dark, and it's all part of it, right? As Lola touches upon today and in our past episodes, really excavating the shadow. So my relationship with the light is, yes, I'm a light worker. I see myself as a warrior of light. I see myself as a goddess of light. And also, I've got a lot of shadow and a lot of darkness and a lot of parts of myself that do not feel safe or in control. And I'm very human, and I think that's never gonna not be there. I think that's just part of the journey. It's really how to integrate and embrace and open to the parts that feel shameful. So that's where I'm at with it. And I'm curious, we started earlier with you, Megan.
It's interesting you're asking the question, what calls you to this work, or what called you to this work, in light of my personal story is so much about what I think the Goddess of Light retreats are trying to help other women through. So basically, mom of twins, creative director, own my own business, happily married, thinking everything was right on track, and then realizing that there was something really, really big missing, and getting to the point where I just couldn't even get out of bed. I was so burnt out. I was this woman, and she's still there, the overachiever, the pleaser, all those things, and highly capable, highly capable. I can get it done. I sure can get it done, but at what cost? I came face to face with my shadows and dark night of the soul in 2019, and no one was coming to save me other than myself and my belief in the divine. That understanding that self-love was actually the very first step that I was going to need to take to start to actually live a life that was sustainable at 40 years old. It was the hardest reckoning I've ever ever dealt with. It shook everything in my life apart into pieces. Everything was falling apart underneath my feet. And I had to build from the ground up, from the inside out. I've been called to do this work because I really got to the point where I had no other choice but to really face it and deal with it. And a big part of that is following your calling, and that is the light within you, and really learning to listen to it and not try to just shove it down and be like, nope, that's going on the back burner, I'll do that later, there's two twins I got to take care of. At a certain point, that light has to thrive or you're not going to. And so I just needed to change the equation and put me first finally, which is so hard to do. I mean, my kids did need to be of a certain age for me to have the space to even do that.
Sure.
I don't have a really succinct way to answer this because it's still
That was
my whole
succinct.
life. It's my whole life and it's still happening, but I'm just following that light, and that is my guiding light. And that's what always works out, is when I can tune into my intuition, tune into that inner wisdom, my higher self, the inner child that needs me to hear her out, all of those different parts of me. That's the light that pulls me forward and allows me to shine. As soon as I do that, the ego melts away. It's not really about me. It's just about aligning to magic and love and the truly important things in this amazing thing called life.
I don't think you could be any more succinct than that. Honestly, that was beautiful. Thank you, Megan.
Sure.
Yeah, Lola, if you feel like sharing anything that's true for you, that'd be great.
Yes. Wow, Megan, loved that. Ugh, you're just, you speak to my soul so much. The calling, my work is music and the creative process, singing, all of that. I first was called into music when I was 9 years old. I sang the Christmas solo at my church, and I felt the power of the Holy Spirit, the universe, God, the light just take my body over. The best feeling I had ever experienced. And from that moment on, I was like, this is what I need to do with my life. I can't not do this. Since then, it's been everything to me, and it's been the way that I process my emotions. I face my shadow. I do the excavating. Lately, it's been a very interesting exploration of nervous system and being a performer, kind of on what Megan was saying of hitting a point of burnout in my career, because I'm also an overachiever and a go-getter, and I was running in my career and feeling so drawn out and like there was nothing really left of me, and questioning like, what am I even doing? Why do I even do music? And losing the fire and the passion for it. And I started taking a course on the nervous system, and it has been a game changer for me to understand how your primary instrument is your nervous system, and then what you're doing, singing, playing piano, whatever, is your secondary instrument. And I spent most of my life ignoring the nervous system and powering through. No matter how I'm feeling, I'm just going to power through and be a performer because I have to perform.
Yeah.
And I trained myself to just override my nervous system. And so a lot of the work in the past year for me has been returning to myself and having compassion and acceptance and really being with my body and regulating myself, and then really reorienting how I look at performing, instead of it being about me getting everyone to like me and me being the good singer and me getting the validation from my audience. It's more, what can I bring? What gift can I give to these beautiful people in my audience? How can I be the channel of light? How can I be as present and in my body, as regulated as possible? That's the priority, so that I can be the instrument for the room, the tuning fork for the room, to bring everyone into regulation with me. That's been my growing edge lately. And I'm so grateful to be able to have more opportunities like this in my life, because this is really where my heart is as a performer and musician, is to be sharing music in very intimate settings that are oriented around soulful growth and sisterhood and expansion, and the conversations are just rich in all the things I'm passionate about. So I'm very excited to be back next year doing all of these Goddess of Light retreats with such a great team, and getting inspired, being inspired, and hopefully being an inspiration for others too.
That you truly are, Lola. You truly are an inspiration. And I love that transition you're sharing about making it from being a performer to, because so many of us are performers, whatever we do, we're performing, whether we're a mom and we're performing as wearing the role of the mom, or an entrepreneur, we're all performing in some way. And that you shifted that and that you shared your shift with us. That's such an incredible dramatic shift of like, oh, let me just regulate myself, show up as the priority. I think that's so much of the core of what we're doing here, as a team and together, first and foremost for ourselves, and showing up together as that, as best we can, as that co-regulated, highly resonant, dropped in team. We're all on the path together, walking it together. Thank you. Marne.
My work is culinary, but it comes from nutrition as the heart space. My previous background was more in the culinary world, cooking for the sake of cooking. And then my aha moment was nutrition. And previous to that, my growing up years was spent very much not with a nutrition focus at all. We had very little money, like food stamps, hamburger helper style meals, mom as a single waitress. Nutrition was kind of the farthest thing from my mind for a long time. And then I had the health aha moment that led me to realize how impactful food could be. I shared a lot about that origin story on the podcast as well, if anyone wants to hear that. Once that aha moment happened, it was like, I can't not do this thing. This is my passion. This is what I'm on this earth for. And I also have very much a caretaker's spirit. I know that I am here to serve and to give. And coupled these gifts and these things that I know about myself and this passion that I have for food and for nutrition, coupled with some tumultuous growing up and some habits that were formed over a long slew of years of navigating life in a rough way and putting a lot of my self-worth on giving, 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 just that output. I'm very blessed to have this business and this passion that I have now with my restaurant and food business Bastion that's serving the Goddess of Light retreats. But unfortunately for myself, that came at my own sacrifice for quite some time prior to even opening the current iteration of my business. But even up until about this time last year, it was just a lot of self-sacrifice, a lot of giving, overachieving, putting everything and everyone else first. And what was left for myself was the dregs at the bottom of the barrel. And oftentimes there wasn't even that left. It was the ultimate in burnout, which a number of us have spoken to and can very much understand. So I definitely grappled with this question of how can I have this thing that I'm passionate about and that I know that I'm on this earth to serve and to give? How can I feel burnt out by that? I almost felt burned by my own passion. And I was like, wait, what? Similar to Lola's statement previous to finding this nervous system reset, it was like, wait, but how can I keep doing this thing if it's causing me this much pain and trauma and grief, and there's nothing left of myself? Like, I'm a shell of who I was at this point. I had to wrestle with myself a little and say, like, well, something's got to give. What's it going to be? And I realized I needed to prioritize myself.
Yeah.
As we've all come to similar realization that there's more to give. As long as there's more of me around, there's more to give, and that means being able to receive as well. So I went on a pretty hard deep dive into a lot of childhood traumas, reopening child wounds in order to heal them properly because they were never healed and were leading to some tendencies and some ways that I've grown and carried myself that were absolutely no longer serving me. We all know that's very difficult to grapple with, but in meeting Siri and meeting this whole incredible group of divine women, I've realized, number one, I'm not alone, because I felt so isolated and so alone in this. Like what we're doing here, this work that we're doing is the light. Your second question around my relationship with the light and how that's evolved. The initial light, it's like finding that passion, finding your purpose, and you're here, this is what you're here to do and to serve. That was my initial blinding light when I discovered nutrition and food and how I could use that to heal people. And then I let whatever those past traumas were, whatever those tendencies were, all of these ways that I had developed that my worth was wrapped around just giving and giving and giving and receiving nothing. It diminished that light for me just so much over and over and over. But over the course of such a long span of time that, of course, I didn't see it happening until I reached that ultimate burnout. And then I was like, oh shit, it's dark in here. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And I had to claw my way out. And there were lots of times of clawing my way out. It wasn't new to me. It was just like, okay, girl, pull your boots up. Come on, we can do this. But I think the most profound thing about that was realizing that I wasn't alone, that so many other women out there and this amazing goddess team that I've found has gone through their own iteration of a similar version of this story that we can share in that. And I've rediscovered the light after coming out of that. I will say that the food business is so brutal, and almost every single week I have some horror story around people calling in sick. Shit happens every single day in this industry that I'm in that I have to pull myself up and remind myself of the light and remind myself that I'm worth it almost every single day in order to continue to get through it. But every time I do it, I come out stronger. And it's podcasts like this, it's meetings with all of you guys, it's the daily reminders that I am worth it and that I need to keep showing up because you all are keeping me accountable and showing up with me.
You're such a blessing. I know I've said this about so many of you, but Marnie, your friendship, who you are, the way you show up, the medicine that you give to others, not just through your food, but just through your authenticity, through your unique being is so enough and so beautiful. And we're all in this restorative place together of like, how do we keep finding our center again? And I might just say that if you guys are not watching the YouTube version, if you're listening, there's these streams of beautiful light coming diagonally across and behind you, and it's perfect. And
I thought it would be appropriate to be in the kitchen during this call.
yeah, it's perfect. Desi,
My calling came out of a very dark period in my life. Everything was falling apart, being stripped away from me under the guise of a very deeply hurtful betrayal story. And amongst a group of 6 women, they were like honoring me because I had fire dance the night before. And I was like, oh yeah, I do that. And they were like, wow, we wish we had that. And I was like, well, you all have that. But do you give yourself the gift of shedding all your societal roles, letting it all go, and expressing like a gift? And they were like, oh, wow, maybe I should do that. And I said, well, I would like to photograph it because I think it's important that you're seen and that you see this beautiful, powerful moment. And so my first year of launching Maui Goddess Project, photographed about 40 women going out into nature and embracing the mission of adorn, honor, and see. And it was going for about 10 years, just really smooth. Sometimes I would tap random women on the shoulder and I'm like, I see you at this place. Do you have a gift you want to express? I mean, it was very guided. And all of a sudden, I got this hit that I'm supposed to go global. And that was really odd timing. I was caretaking my mother. I have a farm. I have kids. I'm a single mom. Like, I laughed at the universe, and the universe was like, well. So last year, I reached out to a couple platforms about expanding my little Maui mission and photographing retreats and expanding the web to being with groups of women and offering the same thing. Do you want to be seen? Do you have a gift in this very special time where they are gifting themselves that time and capturing it, and then capturing these retreats with authentic healing going on And that's the layer of the mission, that I want to have a gallery and an archive for the generations to come that is unfiltered. This is what we do when we heal. We go to the waters, we go to the mountains, we come together, we breathe, we listen to sound. Like, I want it all documented and found without the touches of AI and everything. So that way our grandkids and their grandkids can go, oh yeah, we still have that. Because I believe it's just going to become more difficult to find that. With my relationship to light, that's what my photography is. Photography is all about light. People think it's all about taking a good picture and looking good. Well, the way that that happens is where I put you in the light, where the light's hitting you. Is it behind you? Is it softening you? And all of that. So that's always been a tool. And thank you, Dawn. And I will always be measuring light, chasing light, and bringing it as the forefront of the mission. So
Mm.
happy
Oh
to
my
be part of
gosh.
Goddess of Light. I call myself the priestess of light. So I'm right in alignment with everything.
It's so perfect. Thank you for listening to the calls that didn't make sense and following the path. And my prayer and your prayer aligned. And here we are. And I'm so grateful. Thank you. And Dawn,
Yes, this is so beautiful. I love, Desi, that you're, for one thing, you are magical with light. Thank you. Desi photographed my wedding in Maui in December. That's how she and I met. I love how the glimmers of light are woven throughout our lives, and that we can all look at our lives and see the threads of light. And most of the time, we have absolutely nothing to do with those threads. It is all divine. It is all literally given to us. And so when I was thinking of what called me to this work and this sisterhood, it's literally like a divine beam of light. It wasn't that I was necessarily seeking, it literally just started to permeate everything. I think I came into this world with the DNA of a healer, whatever that means. My earth mind meant it that I was going to be a physician or a nurse or physically part of the healing process. And through that, I think I was completely oblivious to the own light within me. I walked through life literally lighting myself on fire to keep other people warm. As a child, I would do anything to keep my grandparents happy. And as I grew older, I would do anything to keep anyone happy, a patient happy in the hospital. Till one day I woke up and realized, I don't remember who said it, actually, Marne, a husk of what I was. Like, who am I? I don't know. I have literally walked through life being whoever anyone else told me I was or felt I should be. If someone needed something, well, there's got to be part of me to give. Where is it? I don't know. I'm going to find it. Recently, the path that calls me specifically to this work and to these retreats and in communion with women is to reconnect us all to our own light, because it wasn't until I finally felt the light within me that that healing began. So when I came onto this earth, I thought, oh, I'm supposed to heal others. The whole journey has been about my own healing. And through that opens that conduit through which others can heal themselves. So it doesn't come through me or from me. It is here for us all to tap into, and just remembering that receiving piece of it. That's been a beautiful awakening through this last few years, is the awareness of the light within and the stewarding of that so that others can see and become aware of their own.
beautiful. Dawn is a Reiki practitioner, and she came and gave a sound bath to my Reiki students at our Reiki retreat in my home. We gave her each a stone that represented Dr. Sui's stones that he used to keep track of his time on top of Mount Kurama. And then Dawn went literally to Mount Kurama in Japan with her daughter the next day and put those stones on the mountain for us. That example right there speaks to who Dawn is. So it was pretty cool. Well, ladies, there was a million more things I wanted to share and ask, of course, but time. What are we going to do? It's what it is. So thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you One day we'll talk about the magic and more about the vision. I'm so grateful for each of you. I'm so grateful for your light. I'm so grateful for your artistry. I'm so grateful for your trust, for your devotion. This circle and this sisterhood is the living embodiment of Goddess of Light, and the way that you each show up for one another and for yourselves, most importantly, so that you can show up for others, is the medicine. So may the energy that we've created here ripple out to every woman who's ready to continue to remember and come back to her light. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good, one breath at a time. And I can't wait to be in connection with you in whatever way is authentic to you. Thank you, ladies. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Loving you. And we'll see you soon.